Riley played a little out of position and in his Capital City Go-Go assignment. Now, as a rookie, everyone's trying to find out where they fit and what their role is, and this fit was initially on paper looked odd, but apparently to him, it was actually quite natural.
What position is that?
Yeah, I grew up a point guard my whole life, so it's nothing different to me. I've been playing point guard since I was a kid, so it's not really too much of a switch up. But like I said before, like I'm always just here to win. So any position I'm proud in, I feel like I'm gonna compete now.
Man, I agree. Like I like the way that he moves with the ball in his hands. It's a fluidity to his game that just comes off very natural. And now I can honestly see why the Wizards front office, kind of honed in on him with that second first round draft pick that they had last year. And from what I've seen from him and his games with the Wizards, I know Isaac, we're going to talk about what he did with the Go-Go. But this is a guy who is, if we're talking about what that quote that Greg said about the Wizards earning minutes instead of being doled out, like this is a guy who is earning more player time with every time he steps on the floor. And so I can't help but be highly impressed with what we've seen from him, both with the Go-Go and with the Wizards.
Now, Greg, this is for the first time you're hearing that quote. Do you think that you would agree with Riley in this space? Do you think that he could fit in as a sort of floor general for the Wizards right now?
I mean, certainly. I mean, Isaac, I think tweeted it a little bit before he started recording. Mother knows mess. Like his mom is saying it. Like he's saying it. Like it's clear that he knows he's probably a point guard, but he also knows like with these rebuilds, sometimes you don't play the position that you've played your entire life. Sometimes you got to adjust, and so that's nice to hear him saying it. But he had, I think, 6 assists in that 36-point effort with the Go-Go. He was finding teammates. Last night, he had a sick wraparound feed, I think, to Tristan in transition for an easy layup. Like, he's made some great passes. He made some plays against Philadelphia as well when he played a career high in minutes and scored a career high 13 points. You can see the on-ball production, and, like, it's very unique. Like, in college and in the pros, it's different games. Like, you saw it a little bit at Illinois, and with the Go-Go, it's a more open game. Like, you're seeing it when he's on ball, that he has the on-ball skills, he has the court vision, he has the ball handling skills to be able to create offense, to find teammates. But I think for the Wizards, like, are they going to play him early on as a point guard? I haven't seen it yet, but he's certainly capable of doing it. I think as you see some guys get bought out or get traded, more minutes get opened up, you'll maybe start to see him take more of that role on. But that's why I liked it so much when they sent him down to the G League. It's the same thing with like AJ Johnson today, who had 22 in the G League. These guys get valuable reps that they're not probably getting with the NBA squad. Like AJ Johnson, Will Riley would never be able to play that many reps, that many minutes on ball with the Wizards. That's just not going to happen this season. But with the Go-Go, they're pretty much the best player on that team the second they get there. And they've showed out in those minutes, specifically Riley. So, I mean, his mom said it. I agree with his mom. I think he's a point guard.
And Isaac, Riley has been thriving in this role that he's been fulfilling with the Go-Go, isn't that right?
Yeah, no, he has been. He's played 3 stints with the Go-Go's, and with the Go-Go, and each stint he has played amazing. I mean, this 36-point performance is normal to him. I guess. And same with the Go-Go. They knew that he was going to do something like this, so they're very accustomed to it. But for someone who I haven't got the chance to see him play live up close, outside of watching a couple college games, I was impressed. And for him to display that answer as a point guard to me, I'm like, all right, I see the vision. I'm sold. Like, you sold me just based off the way you play, because he has great court vision, and it showed that even last night with the Celtics. So, yeah, I commend it. So, speaking of which, he looked amazing in the Go, and unfortunately, even though he looked amazing, it's funny to talk about with him. So, this is what he thought about how he looked with the Go-Go.
I feel like obviously my team, they allowed me to get the shots I was getting by, we were doing like collides and stuff. They were spacing the floor. They were shooting very well, so it gave me the opportunity to, attack the rim. And, I felt like, there was a lot of times where, I could have done better in a lot of situations. But, we didn't come up with the win, so it's unfortunate. But, just super excited for what's next to come.
Wow, I'm really impressed by that audio clip of the fact that that he was disappointed in the fact that they didn't win. He had a great game. He had 36.6 assists, but he still sounded like a guy who was very much unhappy with the fact that they did not get a win. But I really do love the fact that Will Riley is getting the opportunity to have the ball in his hands, because I know that that was something that a skill set that he didn't really get to show as much last year when he was at Illinois, because they had Yakachunas, who was a much more highly touted recruit coming in, and a guy who they started, and they really put the ball in his hands and allowed him to kind of run the offense last year for the Fighting Illini. But Will Riley, he is a guy who is showing that he deserves opportunities to be able to run some pick and rolls, because his court vision is so good and he plays the right way. So this is a guy who's not going out there trying to gun and put up as many shots as he wants. He's trying to make the correct basketball play. And honestly, the Wizards, they just need more people like that, who are just going out there and making the correct basketball plays.
Well, correct basketball play to win, as you
To
heard
win,
him,
to win.
as you heard
Yes,
him try
yes.
to allude to there, Greg. What does Riley's comments on his performance? What did they tell you that he was disappointed in the loss?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, you guys talked about it, like the fact that he was upset that they lost. Like obviously the Wizards clearly don't care too much about wins and losses. They're trying to get that pick. The Go-Go, Will could have easily gone in there and said, I'm here to get numbers. I'm here to show why I should be getting minutes at the NBA level. I'm a rookie. I want to make my name known. But he's still concerned that the team lost. So that's obviously nice to hear from, if you're watching all these Wizards games, you're like, can you please be competitive? Can you please show that you really want to win? Even if it's not resulting in wins, can you show that you do care that you're losing? So that is nice to hear. But look, he went out there. He sounded humble, but he had an awesome game. He scored 36 assists. You wouldn't know it though, because he's not out here saying like, I had 36. I played well. So it's nice to hear that. And for most people that watch most teams, they're like, that's like not that big a deal. But when the Wizards have won, that's 36 games over the last like 180, that's not been fun. So you want to get guys in here that want to win. Like Keyshawn seems like one of those guys that's going to be vocal and wants to win. Seems like the rookie class that has come in here, they want to win. Hopefully that can translate, but it's nice to hear that Will cares about it.
No, I mean, it was nice to hear that Will cared about it, and too, because you would think your first instinct when someone has a big game like that, he's like, hey, I played well, but, give credit to your teammates, of course. But he was so upset about it. And what also particularly brought me up into what he was thinking was he was very meticulous about his detail. One thing that bothered him about that entire game, which will lead into another thing that I got to ask him, was he was bothered about his rebounding. Unfortunately, the Go-Go against the Greensboro Swarm got out-rebounded by like 15 rebounds. And that was a big emphasis point from head coach Cody Topper, that they were upset, and Will wished that he had more rebounds in that game, which leads to another thing. Does he actually fit in the mold of what the Wizards are looking for based off mentality? And, I got to ask him.
I like to win, so anywhere I go, I'm gonna try and do my best to win. I'm gonna compete in any situation that I'm brought in, whether it's the end of a game or if I come down to the G League. No matter what, I'm always gonna give my best effort. I'm never gonna hang my head, so I just gotta keep doing that and just see where it leads me.
Man, I love the fact that he is, he's saying all of the right things, and it doesn't really sound like coach speak or PR speak. This sounds like a guy who really believes in the things that he's saying. And I'm sorry, I was just so taken aback by that stat that Greg threw out about the number of losses. Like,
Yeah.
Greg, you got to do it like a trigger warning before you just start throwing out stats like that.
I know, you're right.
Like that's wow. But yeah, Will Riley is 100% the type of player that the Wizards need to be bringing in and developing, because he cares about winning, because he cares about playing the right way, and because his skill set is so versatile that they can use him in a plethora of different ways. And so, I would love to see him get opportunities with the Wizards, but if he has to go through more developing and putting that ball in his hands, then I think those assignments with the Go-Go will definitely prove to be very valuable for his development going forward.
Absolutely. Well, beyond just the development, as you said there, he's saying all the right things, and it sounds as though he really genuinely means it. And finding a player like that it's very difficult to come by. People who genuinely hold themselves to those kind of standards and those values. So credit to Will Riley. Hopefully he does have a bright future with the team. Credit also to Isaac again for getting these quotes and having the opportunity to sit down with Will Riley,